Today's topic is about powerful writing. And if you have 5 minutes, I've got 5 tips to help you make your writing more powerful. Margaret Atwood, well-known literary luminary, once wrote that a word after a word after a word is power. And when you think about it, there is no doubt about it that being able to put words together in particular ways is very powerful. It can have an enormous amount of influence in the world. It can cause people to have great emotional impact. It can actually change the world when you think about what has happened throughout history. So powerful writing is something that connects with readers emotionally, and it's something that is worth considering spending some time cultivating. You know, powerful writing actually resonates with readers. It pulls them into a story. It keeps them wanting to read through the story, and it keeps them getting to the end of the story wishing that the story wasn't over. The bottom line is that powerful writing matters to readers. And I think that this is why, if you understand what makes powerful writing, that it can enhance your writing in the end. So today I have 5 tips that might help you improve the power of your writing. Tip number 1 is to cultivate clarity and simplicity in your writing as much as possible. Now, for some people who think about powerful writing as being done by great literary luminaries who have tremendous command of the English language, what you're forgetting is that much of what they're writing actually is bare bones down to the clearest and simplest and most straightforward ways of saying things. The more straightforward and clear you can be in your writing, the more the reader is going to understand you. Your writing is never going to be powerful if readers are confused by what you're writing. So avoid jargon and convoluted phrasing. Those are the things that can confuse readers. Tip number 2 is show, don't tell. You've heard this one a million times before. I know it. People keep saying, show me, don't tell me. And many new writers, they go onto Facebook sites all the time and say, I don't really understand what this means. How can I show something instead of telling, because I'm telling. That's what I'm doing in my writing. Showing things is much more powerful than telling people about them. So instead of just stating outright facts about things, you have to use descriptive terminology and a descriptive way of making the reader understand what you're saying. For example, you might say, Mary is sad, and that may be important for the reader to understand, but it's also boring. It is more important for you to tell me something about Mary that makes me understand that she's sad. Tell me about her facial expression, how she's speaking to people, her body language, those kinds of things that are going to paint the picture that she's sad without you ever having to state that fact. All of this engages the reader's senses in a much more in-depth kind of way, and it has much more power in creating their emotional response to your writing. And that leads into tip number 3, which is to appeal directly to your reader's emotions. What you want to be able to do is to tap into readers' emotions so that the story resonates with them somewhere other than in the top-level intellectual area of their brains, that they feel it. This creates a strong connection and can have a much more lasting impact. You can do this by doing things like anecdotes, for example. If you're writing nonfiction, that's a particularly good way to appeal to emotions. You can use relatable situations. You can use emotionally charged language, and that's very useful in fiction writing, for example. So all of this is in ways for you to connect to readers' emotions. Tip number 4, vary your sentence structure and pacing. Now this may seem kind of odd to you. Okay, we're talking about emotions and now we're talking about sentence structure. Yes, sentence structure. By varying your sentence structure and the length of your sentences and the way you're writing, it can add a dynamic element to your writing that's not there if you write at the same pace all the time. It changes the pacing of your writing, and by doing that, it keeps readers engaged. If you use short, punchy sentences, for example, that can indicate urgency. But if you want to be more introspective, longer, more thoughtful sentences, slow the pace down a little for that thoughtfulness. And varying the pace becomes very helpful for you in creating that bond with the reader. Tip number 5 is edit and revise carefully and often. It might surprise you to know that the power in writing often doesn't come through in the first draft. It is often in the second and third drafts of the writing where the powerful elements of the story can be added. And this means that editing becomes crucial to powerful writing. And if you want your writing to be very powerful, you are going to take this editing process very seriously. Editing allows you to distill your ideas to their very essence. And once you've been able to do that, your ideas and your story will have more impact. Now, you as a reader know that you want powerful writing. You want to read powerful writing. So as a writer, you also know that you want to give that kind of writing to your readers. So good luck with enhancing your writing with powerful techniques.
Subscribe to Write, Fix, Repeat, and maybe I can help you improve your writing knowledge and skills, 5 tips at a time.